Welcome back everyone to another Weather Glance video. In today's video, we'll be covering a potential severe weather outbreak in the north central United States. Now what that means is we're expecting tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail, as well as flooding in today's severe weather event. So we have a lot to talk about in this video to ensure that you are safe in today's severe weather event. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, on our first slide, we're taking a look at our composite reflectivity with the HRRR forecast model. And as you can see, earlier today, we're expecting some spotty showers to pop up in Wisconsin, not really messing up the convective available potential energy so much so that we won't have as good of a storm chances as we were going to. But as you can see, we do have that Derecho style storm moving through. Now what that means is we're expecting a long line of downburst type cells in this storm, so that means that we will have damaging winds. That's the main threat today, damaging winds up to 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. 90 mile per hour wind gusts over Lake Michigan is not going to be rolled out today, as there is a flat acceleration over the Lake Michigan area. So we have that potential. So if you're planning on boating today, please rethink that, as you may be running into some serious situations later this evening once that moves over the Lake Michigan area. But as you can see, we start off with that Boeing effect with this storm system, and then it's going to move southeast down through Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, until it moves over Lake Michigan, and then it's going to head over into Michigan again with even more severe damaging winds. And as it moves into Ohio, then it will start to fade out, but that's where we go into tomorrow's severe weather threat. And what that's going to do is that's going to bring tornado threat to Pennsylvania. So we have a 5% chance of a tornado occurring within a 25-mile given location for Pennsylvania tomorrow. But today, we have a very widespread tornado threat for Wisconsin today. So not only do we have that damaging wind threat, we also have the tornado threat as well, and a significant hail threat as well too. So we are expecting large hail within the Wisconsin area. Now we're not talking about baseball sized hail, but we're not rolling that out either. That could also be possible. Mainly the threat is pea size up to maybe about 1-inch hail. So anywhere within Wisconsin, you have the threat for hail today. All right, now we're taking a look at our 2-meter AGL dew point in degrees Fahrenheit on the HRRR forecast model. And as you can see, we have upper to mid 70 dew points throughout the Wisconsin area as that storm moves through today. And then that dry air is going to be pushing behind that cold, dry air. That's really going to be a strong cold front pushing through. But you can see that we have up to 76 degree dew points here. That's significant dew points, everyone. And that's going to really be providing a lot of moisture, warm, moist air into this storm system. It's all advecting in from the south central United States, from the Texas area, and that's really good. It's going to be feeding into these storms today, as you can see. And then all that dry air, we're going to have very dry air here, dew points in the 30s, with temperatures up in the 90s. That's really dry air, everyone. So that's going to be pushing behind it. So then you'll have a break from that severe weather. But for right now, today, you're really going to want to watch out for those storms, because this is everything is really coming together very well for today, as I usually say with the severe weather events. But this is really going to be a significant type weather event for today. No fear or anything like that. No fear mongering. We're just bringing you the facts here. Today is going to be a very serious weather event, and so that's why we're bringing you this information, as you need to be prepared for today with your NOAA weather radio and your news stations ready and handy. All right, now we're moving on to the bulk shear, 0 to 1 kilometer in the atmosphere. So that's from the surface to 1 kilometer in the atmosphere in knots. So this is basically going to be showing you how much shear is in the atmosphere. The more shear, the more rotation in the atmosphere. And once those updrafts penetrate that shear, that's what's going to be causing this rotation and generally those supercellular thunderstorms. So when we look in Wisconsin today, later this evening, that's where we see those yellows, and that's not normal. We definitely don't see that in your average severe weather event. We do have 55 to 60 knot shear difference in the atmosphere, both vertically and horizontally. So we have speed shear and vertical shear as well. So we have a lot of shearing going on in the atmosphere today, folks, and that's really what's going to be feeling these storms. So make sure that you are prepared for the potential for a tornado, an isolated tornado within these cells. We do have embedded tornadoes forecasted, so that means with this line of storms, we could see a few possible tornadoes today. That's not rolled out at all because of the risk of tornado threat. All right, now we're looking at the most unstable CAPE, and this is the most unstable convective available potential energy. This is the energy in the atmosphere, so that's putting all together the dew points and the warm, moist air as well. So this is putting together how much energy there is for the storms to feed. So kind of think of it as food to give you a better perspective. The more there is, basically the more strong the storm will be. So here we have up to 5,000 joules per kilogram in the Iowa area, and this is going to be affecting over into Wisconsin. And once that reaches there, once the storm system, you can see it up here in Minnesota, once that moves through, it's going to be eating all this convective available potential energy up. Now, something to note about cold fronts and frontal systems is that they don't eat up all the energy at once with the storm systems. They continue to push it south, and that gives it more time to feed. So instead of a pulse thunderstorm eating it up all at once, it's going to be feeding on it long term, and that's what's going to be fueling this Derecho style storm as it moves south. And that's going to be providing a lot more energy for the areas of Kentucky and Missouri for some potential storms tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week moving into the weekend. So the south might see some thunderstorms as well moving into the weekend as this convective available potential energy is affecting into the south and into Pennsylvania. Of course, tomorrow we do have the threat as well, which we will be going into tomorrow, but we do have a big severe weather threat for the entire eastern half of the United States possible because of how much energy there is over here. All right, now we're looking at the storm relative helicity, 0 to 3 kilometers in the atmosphere. So that's from the surface to 3 kilometers in the atmosphere. Helicity really deals with the updrafts of the storm, how much force there is pushing up. And as you know, what goes up must come down. And really the thing is the faster it goes up, the faster it comes down. So if you have really strong updrafts, we're talking maybe 100 to 200 mile per hour updrafts, what must come up, that must come down. So we'll have, that doesn't mean you'll have 100 to 200 mile per hour wind gusts. That's not ever going to happen. But we could see the potential for some 90 to possibly 100 mile per hour wind gusts over Lake Michigan. And really that's going to feel the hail as well. So that's why we have that hail threat, because of these strong updrafts and downburst situations. We could see the potential for some moderate to large hail today into this evening and into tomorrow morning as well, as the storm moves through the Ohio Valley into the southern northeast regions. All right, now we're moving on to our Supercell Composite. Now this puts everything together that we just talked about, kind of the shear and the energy in the atmosphere, and this is going to show you what our likelihood is for supercellular thunderstorms. Now, as you can see, into Ohio tomorrow, we do have that threat as well. Into Pennsylvania, we do have that threat for supercells, so we definitely do have a widespread area of supercellular thunderstorms possible, but our main threat is up here in the north central U.S. Whenever this system comes through, we do have a very good chance for supercellular thunderstorms, so make sure that you are prepared for that, because that is a significant chance for supercellular thunderstorms, which produce tornadoes as well. So that is really concerning for the likelihood of supercells and tornadoes altogether. All right, now we're moving on to our significant tornado parameter, and what this is going to be showing you is kind of similar to the Supercellular Composite model from the HRRR. We do see the potential for tornadoes as well, so this is showing you the likelihood of tornadoes, and as you can see, once these storms start popping up, we do see that significant threat for tornadoes in central Wisconsin. Now, the threat does go down as we move over Lake Michigan into Michigan, but we're definitely not ruling out the possible threat. As you can see in the Ohio Valley, we do see that potential for tornadoes too, again in tomorrow into Ohio. So there is a widespread area for tornado threats. Now that's going to be happening tomorrow, Thursday, July 29th. That's going to be happening tomorrow in the Ohio Valley into Pennsylvania as well. But our main threat for tornadoes is Wisconsin today, July 28th. And you can see that we do have supercell or significant tornado parameter levels up into about 5 to 5.5 on the scale. So that's really, that's a very good chance for tornadoes today. So we definitely do have a good threat for tornadoes today. So make sure that you are staying prepared for the potential threat of a tornado popping down into your local area. All right, now we're heading into our National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center outlooks, and what we're looking at today is a moderate risk of severe weather. Now, these don't happen all the time. I think our last moderate risk of severe weather was somewhere in June, and you can see that we don't get moderate risks of severe weather all the time. That's a 4 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, so we're talking 5 is the highest that you can ever go on the severe weather scale. That's a high risk. Today, we have a 4 out of 5, which is the moderate risk. So you can see the type of situation we're dealing with here, folks. We do have a very good chance for severe weather today, significant severe weather today, so make sure that you are staying prepared. This moderate risk includes portions of Green Bay, so that's just south of Green Bay, but Green Bay is included in this. North of La Crosse, so north and northwest and northeast of La Crosse, and just about east of Minneapolis. So that's about maybe 50 miles east of Minneapolis, and this is including Milwaukee as well. So if you live in any of those areas, be sure to stay tuned for the severe weather. Now we do have an enhanced risk as well, so enhanced risk is also very severe as well. We do have that including Duluth and La Crosse and Chicago as well. So those are all included in that enhanced risk as well. And then behind that, we have our slight risk and our marginal risk. So slight risk and marginal risk are good for severe weather, but we don't see as big of a threat, of course. Tomorrow, we do have a slight risk for Pennsylvania and Ohio with that tornado threat. We might see an enhanced risk tomorrow just due to the type of situation there is. But I kind of keeping it low down to a slight risk for those areas. So not as big of a threat for the Ohio Valley tomorrow. But our main threat is, of course, the moderate risk today that we are looking at. All right, looking here, this is our tornado probability legend in percent. So this is going to be telling you basically take your percentage and say that's going to be happening within a 25-mile given location. So if you have the smallest is a 2% chance, so that's a 2% chance of that happening within 25 miles of your location. So here on our highest scale that we have today is a 10%, and you can see that that 10% includes portions of the moderate risk and enhanced risk. So that's really going to be showing you that we have a 10% chance of tornadoes happening within a 25-mile given location. Now that's a very good chance, folks. We have a good chance for severe weather today and tornadoes. So tornadoes are definitely on the scale. Usually when we see that 5%, that's when you start to get concerned for tornado probability. But when we get into those yellows, that's when it gets even more concerning. So even though it's only a 10% chance, don't roll that out, because that is a very good chance for tornadoes today. I know it may not seem like it, but trust me, whenever we get into these type of situations, 10% is a very concerning area for tornadoes. Now, we're not expecting very significant tornadoes today, of course, just moderate or small to moderate tornadoes possible today. All right, wind probability legend on the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center page, we do see a 45% hatched region. So that means the hatched is significant chance for that type of situation to happen. We have the hatched 30% chance and the hatched 45%. So that means a 45% chance of damaging winds happening within a 25-mile given location. So that means within 25 miles of your location. That's a very good chance. Usually when we see those yellows, that's usually considered damaging winds. When we get into those reds, that starts to get very concerning. Pinks are very concerning because that's, let's count these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 risk totals. So we have 5%, 15%, 30%, 45%, and 60%. And then, of course, we have our significant hatched area. But we have, so the highest you can go is 60%. So 45% is a 4 out of 5 on the wind scale. So you can see what kind of situation we're dealing with here. The moderate risk today, your main threat is going to be wind. That's going to be your main threat, and you're going to want to time these storms out to make sure that you have everything. So all loose objects need to be in your home so that they don't get blown away or potentially harm others that are outside. So make sure that any loose objects are brought inside your home or secured before these storms hit. All right. Now we're going to be looking at our hail probability legend on the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center page, and you can see that our highest risks right now, we have a 30% hatched risk, so that means a significant chance for the 30% chance of 25 of hail occurring within 25 miles of your given location. So that means within 25 miles of you. Now, as you can see, this is a good chance for hail as well. So the hail threat is mainly staying up north into northeastern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin, but we are not rolling out the hail threat all the way down into Michigan, of course, with the 5% chance. But of course, La Crosse, Green Bay, and Milwaukee, and Minneapolis, you're all part of that 15% chance as well. So make sure that you all are prepared for the potential for hail as well. So if you have a garage, I suggest parking the vehicles in the garage so that they do not get hail damage, because we are talking about the type of hail today that could total a vehicle. So make sure I'm just trying to keep everybody aware. Make sure you bring your vehicles indoors if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. There is a very good chance that you won't see hail that's like that, but we definitely do have the chance for hail 1 inch or greater today. So make sure you keep that in mind. Alright, I want to thank you all for watching today's video. A big thanks to today's sources. We have Pivotal Weather, where all the forecast models seen in today's video came from, the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center page, and I would ask you to consider subscribing for more U.S. forecasts free of charge, and also consider following the Weather at a Glance official Facebook page for more inside information and complimentary personal forecasts when you message me on my Facebook page. Again, I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.